Ask Sriram Chaulia as well, just in terms of how this is going to play itself out over the next few days and weeks. What we've also seen, and I don't think it was lost on anyone, that it can't be a coincidence that on the day of the first in-person Quad summit, the U.S. administration, the Biden administration, decided to pardon Wang Menzhou, who is the daughter of the founder of Huawei. She was released from the United States, and I believe she's en route to China. It was a big case. It's been going on for the last year or so. And in response, the Chinese have released 2 Canadian diplomats that they had, quote unquote, taken hostage. Do you also see, at some level, this game of Chinese checkers, if you will, that the Biden administration is also looking for an in? Look at the phone call that he made a few days ago asking Xi Jinping for a summit. While on the one hand, they are using tough language, they are saying we'll give Australia nuclear-powered submarines. At the same time, the Wang Menzhou decision when it comes to Huawei and, of course, the need or the want for a summit, are they also looking for an in as far as the relationship between Washington and Beijing is concerned?
I think Zaka Meng Wanzhou's release was more like a tactical ceasefire in what is going to be a long-term new Cold War like confrontation or competition. It was leading nowhere because the Canadians had been pressured through hostage diplomacy by the Chinese, and they had taken Canadians as practically as pawns for bargaining for Meng Wanzhou's release. So I think and even during the Cold War, at the height of the Cold War, the Soviets and the Americans often exchanged hostages like this. So I don't think that in itself indicates that Biden is not clear about confronting or challenging China. I think the Biden approach is they want to do something for a longer term, and that's why they're focusing on the underlying issues of Chinese dominance and how to roll it back. Technology, infrastructure, the Quad infrastructure coordination group has been announced. That's another big thing because they want to do things that will challenge the BRI in the Indo-Pacific. There is, of course, you mentioned already the critical technologies and values-based critical technologies, 5G. So I think in that sense, the Biden approach is like they're looking at 10, 15, 20-year horizon. And by the way, we cannot be very militarized either because the nature of the threat posed by China is not of a total conquest or absolute domination. It's not like Nazi Germany of the 1930s.
Correct.
What they're doing is they're nibbling away. They're doing salami slicing. They're gradually, and China has strategic patience. Remember, the nature of China is they are running a 100-year marathon, as Michael Pillsbury says. So they have time. They are not looking at immediate takeover of the whole world right away. They are looking at 20, 30, 40 years. So I think Biden wants, at least on paper, to be able to put together all the pieces of the puzzle so that in the long run, what he says is democracies succeed over autocracies. But of course, between there's a lot of gap between rhetoric and reality, and that's where Biden sometimes commits narrow, unilateral measures which redound to China's advantage. And I think AUKUS is not necessarily helping Quad, but nonetheless, overall, if you see U.S. commitment to pushing back China and the basic structure of great power competition and rivalry is not going to diminish. It's only going to get worse. And that is where our opportunity lies for India.
No, I'll talk about the opportunities and also why you view the AUKUS not necessarily as complementary to Quad. But I want